Welcome back, I'm Kim Bailey and this is Floral Art Online, and we're continuing our series for March of 2023. This is design 4, using one bunch of store-bought or supermarket flowers, and we bought in the previous video a bunch of lilies, so we used some of them in the previous video and we're going to use the rest of them in this particular video. And these last two videos for this month have been about having something that you can mix and match, you can change the flowers out of, but remain with the base design as it is. So I've gone for something that's a little bit more sustainable this time than the previous one, which is a little bit more in the art world. So this is basically a basket that was the vessel for a Christmas hamper that we were given. And so we've got this nice little basket left over. Nice, easy way to use up those sorts of things that you get and you think, yeah, it's really nice, but I don't know what to do with it. So we're going to put an arrangement in that, and we're going to base the flowers in just an ordinary glass jar. This is a spicy tomato chutney, or it was at one stage, and that sits nicely inside the basket at the back or at the side, wherever we decide we're going to put it when we do the design. And that just means that it's got a water source, it's easy to replace. So you whip that out, rinse it out, put new water in, put different flowers in, change it round that way, nice and easy, and the basic structure remains the same so that it's easy for you to utilise some of the flowers from a bunch that you might get and not have to worry about using them all in one particular bunch. To give it some height, I'm going to use some packing paper as well, just in the base to hold it up. And we're going to see if we can use some pine cones, 2 different sizes, 2 different types. So let's get organised and started on this particular design. The other thing we're going to use that I didn't mention before is an elastic band. So I've got that ready to go. Right, so first of all, we're going to put the packing paper, I keep thinking it's packing tape, keep going to say it's packing tape, packing paper into the base just to give us a little bit of height for some of the dry replacements or dry placements that we're going to put in there. So we'll position this, which is about where I want it, and then this will be noisy, push this around it. Now you could have that off to one side if you wanted and have the plant material hanging over, but what we're going to do then is we're going to use these. That one's probably a bit too big. We might just use this one and some of these smaller ones. And because the brown paper is quite attractive of itself, we don't have to cover it up completely. You could cover it up with all sorts of things if you wanted to, but I quite like the idea of just having a few things around there. But we'll do our flowers first and then we'll finish off the design. So basically what we want to do is have just a bunch in this container. It's got the water in it already, as you saw, and that's why I need the elastic band, because I'm just going to make a bunch of these lilies and hold them together with the elastic band so that they don't move out of place, and then just put them into the container. So quite a straightforward, easy way to do it. Now we've got, as I mentioned in the previous video, we've got 3 stems and some of them are a little bit tired. And you know, with these lilies, once they come out, they burst into colour, but they're not always very sturdy. They do smell, so if you're the least bit allergic, then I would say don't worry with these. The other thing I have shown you before is how to take those stamens off so that they don't go on everything. So we'll do that for this one. And it's just basically gently pulling them off. Fingers around them and just pull them down. Now you will get it all over your fingers, so I do suggest that you wear gloves or something else to protect your hands. And I have got it on there as well. But you can see how that's going to come over the edge. We're not going to be able to see the edge of the container. It's just going to sit nicely. So we've got I have left a little bit of the foliage on. It's not under the water line, but it just does give a little bit of a different colour to it, but we won't use any of the foliage on this one. Take his stamens off. I want him about there. So what I'm doing is just evening it up around that, so that, and have the placement there. Still got enough stem for me to get the elastic band around to hold it in place. And this last one, which is all of the buds, which we will probably leave intact. Now with this one, we could actually cut them off individually and have them attached individually, but I'll see how it goes all in one, because that'll give it more structural stability. And we might go a bit longer with that one. So that it can give it some height as well. And what that means is that you could have it facing like that this week, and then when these buds open, which will be 4 or 5 days time, spin it round, and then you don't have to worry about replacing anything. So we've got them in the places we want them. Get our elastic band. And I would actually recommend that you run the elastic band down a little bit, because it just gives it more surface area to hold it together in that arrangement that you want. And so there we have those ready placed. Now I'm going to turn it around so I can have a look at it and decide where I want to put these pine cones. Might actually use the big one because it does frame the arrangement quite nicely. So there we have it. So that's just the two bigger pine cones at the back either side to frame and bring the flowers down into the basket colour, because it matches that colour of the basket. And these I've put two at the front, and I've put one right in underneath, almost against that little chutney container, so that there's depth in the design, so that it draws your eye into the design, makes it interesting. So there we have the remainder of the flowers from our one bunch of lilies. I'm Kim Bailey. This is Floral Art Online, and it's the Supermarket or Store Bought Flowers series.